welcome back to another video here on the George Benson football channel. Today, you're watching this on Saturday. I hope you're having a good weekend. Yesterday was Friday. I had a very exciting day yesterday, and it's one of those classic days where I'm not really allowed to say anything about it. What I will say is that I drove to Cobham, which is, where a certain football team's training ground is. You get the idea. It's fun. It's very exciting content. It's going to be releasing next week. So if you're not yet subscribed to the George Benson football channel, all you have to do is click the button. It says subscribe, and then when you click it, it will say subscribed. It's as if it's in the past tense, but basically it just means the future and the present. It means you're going to get notified whenever I upload a video. Click the bell, and you even get a special message sent to your phone if you really want to. You don't have to. It's okay. But if you want to get notified every time I post a video, click subscribe, click the bell. That was long-winded. I apologise. I put out a poll yesterday and asked everybody who they support, and it was about 80% said Chelsea. So that gives me an idea that for the majority of this channel, I will continue to focus the majority of the content on Chelsea, because A, it's the best one for me to make because it's the one I'm most passionate about, and B, it's what you guys are interested in the most. So today, we have got Frank Lampard's 4 biggest decisions that he needs to make as Chelsea manager. You could say they're decisions, they're also dilemmas. Frank Lampard's going to be going to bed every night asking himself these questions. I'm sure for some of them, he already knows the answer, but for us fans, all we've got to go by is a few little leaks on social media, or sometimes we may hear something in a press conference and then somebody who writes as a journalist may interpret it in a different way by changing the words, and it's all a bit of a gamble and a mess really in terms of coming up with any logical prediction as to what Frank Lampard is going to do as Chelsea manager. So the first one we're going to look at, and this one for me is the one that we really don't know the answer to right now. It's the striker decision. We've got Tammy Abraham, who scored 26 goals in 40 matches in the Championship last season. We've got Olivier Giroud, who scored 11 in 14 games in the Europa League, but only 2 in 27 in the Premier League. Yes, 20 of those were from the substitutes bench, but still, 2 goals isn't a return for a striker that you can rely on for 38 games a season to fire you back into the Champions League at minimum for Chelsea's expectations next season. Then we've got the beloved Michy Batshuayi, who I rant and rave about 24/7 because I have to. You know, I just do. 5 goals in 11 matches last season for Palace. Before that, he was on loan at Valencia and he only managed 1 goal in 15 games in La Liga, which isn't the greatest return. The return for Palace was pretty good, and realistically speaking, his return for Chelsea when he has played for us, most of the time it's off the bench, he does get a few goals, some very important ones as well. So he's not got the worst return of any striker that we've ever had. There's been a lot worse than Michy Batshuayi, that is a fact. Now, do we trust Tammy Abraham? Does Frank Lampard trust Tammy Abraham to lead the line when, yes, 26 goals in 40 games is a brilliant return for a striker? If we look at it, it's just 2 more than the total played in the Premier League, and if any striker scores over 20 goals in a Premier League season, it is considered a massive success from whatever club it is they're playing for. The only issue with it is, it wasn't the Premier League, it was the Championship. Now, the Championship is not an easy league to score goals in, but it's also nowhere near as difficult as the Premier League. So the real dilemma, is Tammy Abraham ready to score 15 to 20 goals, at least, probably, that we're going to need next season, considering we've just lost one of our goal-scoring providers, Eden Hazard. I flipping did it again, didn't I? Is Tammy going to be able to deliver that? That is a question that my personal opinion is, I don't know if he's going to bang 20 goals, but I definitely think he's ready to try. I definitely think he deserves a shot in the Premier League. Olivier Giroud, I've said this before on live streams, I've never seen him as a striker who can play 38 games a season. When he was playing for Arsenal, many of his goals were also coming off the substitutes bench, and I feel as though when you need to completely change the dynamics of the game and you need a target man, you need someone who can magic up a goal out of absolutely nowhere, you bring on the man with the greatest heel in world football, Olivier Giroud. He's got the best heel in world football. Please, anybody, argue with me in the comments. I don't think you'll win. So that one is a massive decision for Frank Lampard to make, and I'm going to give my decision, otherwise this video is kind of pointless, and I think that we're getting to that point now where I can make decisions, and I should make decisions as a channel focused primarily on Chelsea. I should be giving my personal opinions on things as well as just overviewing the issues, the great things, the good things, the bad, the ugly, whatever it may be. My opinion is I would start the season with Tammy Abraham. I think you give him the benefit of the doubt. He is a player who doesn't lack in confidence. He's very assured in his own ability. Throwing him in the deep end. Manchester United away, Old Trafford, first game of the season. Tammy Abraham leading the line for Chelsea. I say it with a bit of aggression because I feel as though that is what Tammy would bring to the fold. When I look at Michy Batshuayi, I think yes, he's a good striker. He can hold up the ball well. I think he's been very good in pre-season. But do I feel as though he has that grit, energy, aggression that a Chelsea striker needs to lead a line if he's the only striker? My answer at this point is no. I would love to be proved wrong, but I think Tammy Abraham is ready for it. And that's no disrespect to Olivier Giroud. I just feel as though we need to start with the precedence that Tammy is our man that we back. The second decision that we need to look at is the right back position. We've got Cesar Azpilicueta, Chelsea's captain. He's been a great servant for Chelsea, one of the bargain Premier League signings of the past 10 years. I've said that countless times and I will repeat it and say it again. I do believe that there has been a slight decline in the performances of Azpilicueta. He is not as strong as he was in the first season under Antonio Conte when he was playing in a central defensive position. Itchy nose, sorry. The dilemma right now and the decision that Frank needs to make, in my opinion, at this point, isn't do we replace Azpilicueta at right back. I don't feel like that is the decision that Frank needs to make at this point. The decision he needs to make is who is the second choice? Who is the man who is ready to come in if Azpilicueta's performances start to drop and take his position? We've got Zappacosta, who I've given my opinion on this when I've commentated the live streams of Chelsea's pre-season games. Zappacosta's never in the position he needs to be in. He is a defender. If we're playing without wing backs and we're playing with a right back, he needs to be in defence when the left midfielder of our opposing team has the ball in our half. He just does. And most of the time I watch him, I feel as though he's just not in the position that I want him to be in. I just want to pick him up and just go there. That's where you've got to be. Zappacosta's very good, I think, going forward. I do feel like he can cross a ball. I feel like he can take a player on. But at the same time, he loses the ball quite frequently as well, which is an issue for me. If that is Zappacosta, we've got Reece James in the right hand, and he is somebody who last season grabbed an opportunity at Wigan and put in one of the best performances in the Championship. He was one of the best players, and he comes back to Chelsea, and there's a lot of optimism around him. It's not just me, everybody's talking about Reece James, and even when I made my video the other day about 4 players who are the future of Chelsea, if you haven't checked that out yet, card on the screen. It will be there somewhere right now. Reece James was somebody I missed out. The reason I missed him out, he's not signed a new contract yet. However, the decision is, do we go with a youngster as permanent backup for Azpilicueta? Yes, there's also the decision as to whether or not he should start over him. I think it's far too early to take Azpilicueta out of the team. He's the Chelsea captain and he's been very good for us for a very long time. It's not quite at that point yet for me, but Reece James is certainly knocking on the door. My decision would be to put Reece James as the direct backup to Azpilicueta over Zappacosta. And I do think Frank Lampard will do that when Reece James recovers from injury. I don't think we'll get rid of Zappacosta in this window. We don't know when Reece James is going to be fully fit. It may be a couple of months into the season before we see a fully fit Reece James, but I personally believe Reece James could have the same impact for Chelsea if given the opportunity that Trent Alexander-Arnold has had at Liverpool. I know some fans of other clubs may disagree with that, but he has got so much talent, and yes, it was with Wigan in the Championship, but if it was with a top Championship club, it would have been even less impressive. It was with Wigan, and he looked top class last season. So let's look at the third one. Frank Lampard is going to lose sleep over who plays behind that striker, the number 10 role. Something that we saw Eden Hazard do so well for... I've done it again. Flipping idiot. Mason Mount, Ross Barkley, or Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Because Ruben's going to be out injured most likely until around December time from what I understand. I might be wrong with that. I don't think anybody knows at this point. An Achilles injury can be career ending, let alone halting it, you know. Ruben Loftus-Cheek might not come back the same player as he was before. Hopefully he does. We've got a great medical system at Chelsea and obviously he's getting the best support in the world that he possibly can to aid his recovery. If Ruben doesn't come back fully fit, it's up to Ross Barkley, who's very much impressed me in pre-season, and Mason Mount, who's also impressed me, and he impressed me last year. It's up to one of them to own that position. And I certainly feel as though it is between those guys because I do see Pulisic playing on the wing, which leads us into the final point in this video. Let me know who you guys think is going to be that number 10 for Chelsea. Is it going to be Barkley? Is it going to be Mason Mount? And if Ruben is fit, is it Ruben? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And the fourth point, and we mentioned Christian Pulisic, it's the wingers. Chelsea have got some good wingers. We've got Mason Mount again, who can come into this conversation. He could be playing on the left. We've also got Pedro, who's been a great servant for Chelsea. He still offers something. Willian as well. He's just about to sign a new deal until 2021, so the reports say. Maybe by the time you see this video, he's actually signed it. I don't know. But the dilemma again, and the decision that Frank's got to make, is does he just eliminate all of the experienced players from the starting 11 and focus solely on the youth? Or do we come up with a balance? When I look at the YouTube comments, there are a lot of different separated opinions about this decision that Frank has got. Some people are saying, let's just go with the youth. We spent 58 million on Pulisic. We've got Mason Mount coming back. He can play on the left, which means that we can have Ross Barkley behind, the striker. I can understand this, but I don't think you can underestimate the influence and the impact having somebody as experienced as Pedro or somebody as experienced as Willian in a team full of youngsters. I don't feel as though yet we can rely on all of those young, youthful players without playing some of the experienced players too. So I know I've asked this question quite a lot in recent videos, but I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you happy as a Chelsea fan that Willian has signed a new deal, an extension until 2021? What do you think about Pedro? Can we still play him as a starter in Premier League games and in big matches? Or do we have to go for those youthful players who are knocking on the door ready to play for Chelsea? All four of these decisions, we could argue one way or another about every single one of them. And at the end of the day, as fans, we've got absolutely no say into what Frank Lampard does. But the conversation itself is very exciting. It's very interesting. And despite having a transfer ban, it's a pretty good time for Chelsea right now with so many options and so much talent. Thank you for watching. I hope you're having a great weekend. We've got Reading tomorrow. I'm not going to be doing a live stream, which is a shame, but I'm actually going to the match. So I'll be doing a vlog. I couldn't get tickets in the Chelsea end, so I'm sat right next to the Chelsea fans, which could be interesting. And then obviously the 6 things we learned video will be going here, and anything else I make around the game will also be going onto this channel as well. Thank you guys for watching again today. As I said at the start, if you're not yet subscribed, be sure to hit the button and hit the bell notification. It means that you get notified every time I post a new video. 70% of people that watch these videos aren't subscribed, so I've got to try the best I can to get you guys to subscribe so you don't miss anything in the future. Thank you for watching. I hope you're having a great weekend. Come on, you Blues, tomorrow. I'll see you guys there. Bye-bye.